Y'all, what's up? It's Friday, so I'm gonna keep it black, but I'm gonna keep it brief. So I heard y'all was upset about this dance line of black girls at USC. And that's your business. But nuance is the word of the day every day over here, so. Princess Isis Lang, a black student at the University of Southern California, co-founded a squad called the Cardinal Divas, and then tweeted a video of herself leading the troupe performing for the first time during a game against Fresno State. The thing about it is the University of Southern California is not an HBCU. In fact, it is a predominantly white institution. And the genre of dance these girls are performing is not only derived specifically from the Jackson State University J-Sets, but it has exclusively taken place on the sacred grounds of historically black colleges and universities since the 1960s. And quiet as it's kept, dance lines like the J-Sets, along with their marching bands, have been the only reason people show up to HBCU football games, because unless you're Jackson State, the home team probably gonna lose. Anyway, J-Setting evolved from drum majorettes and baton twirling as a specific art form black women made for themselves, and is near and dear to the HBCU culture. Predominantly black high schools also adopted this form of entertainment for girls who dreamed of joining these collegiate level teams. And ever since Bring It, J-Setting teams have sprung up in communities across the nation. So up until now, black girls going to predominantly white institutions have been SOL, because white marching bands are not going for it, until folks like Princess or even Saweetie carved out spaces for themselves to engage in the art form. And I understand the urge, because as a former HBCU dancer myself, I'm ready to battle anybody in the club at any time, and it's the most fun when you can do it in 8, 16, and 32 counts in groups of 3 or more. But you know what else? As an alumna of the #1 HBCU in the land, what is it, 16 years now and counting? I also understand that HBCUs are not accessible to everyone. Black Twitter was in an uproar saying she should have just went to a HBCU, not considering how expensive they are, not considering that HBCUs do not typically carry all major degree programs, or how competitive it can be to get into the ones that do have the majors, connections, and programs you may want to advance your career. But whether or not she should have went to a HBCU is neither here nor there. The real conversation we're having is about gatekeeping, giving away our secrets, projecting upon this girl that she should have upheld the practice of gatekeeping rather than finding a way to pursue her interests the best way she could. Gatekeeping refers to the activity of controlling and usually limiting general access to something. And it's not just a word born from Twitter arguments. Gatekeeping, like everything else, has had real historical implications on how black people have had to engage certain environments. First of all, white people have been gatekeeping like a motherfucker. And have been ever since they met us. Kept us out of all their institutions, from citizenship all the way to social clubs, requiring not just black people, but all minority groups to develop spaces that can not only feel safe in, but also thrive in. And not just our own places to do the same things as white people, but developing our own versions with their own cultural distinctions. I'm talking in a country based off Christianity, we have had to develop our own religious denomination when Methodists pushed black people out of the church, i.e. Richard Allen and Absalom Jones starting the African Methodist Episcopal Church in 1794. In 1787, Prince Hall had to develop black Freemasonry because white boys were absolutely not letting Negroes into their fraternal orders. Their sisters, the Eastern Stars, had to be developed for black women in 1874. Does anybody know what Freemasons do? No, them boys have it under lock and key. Have you ever seen them pull up to a funeral? It's a little scary. The first HBCU Channing University had to be developed in 1837. Do we have to say why? And then came intercollegiate fraternities, Alpha Phi Alpha in 1906, Alpha Kappa Alpha in 1908, because many of these white fraternities and sororities were literally built off racist principles and white supremacy. So when you consider all of the reasons why and the work done to create and uphold these sacred black traditions, you understand why we don't want to let none of y'all in. Because more often than not, with white entry into our safe spaces comes exploitation. The very first time we met y'all, y'all was stealing our shit. By our shit, I mean us. So therefore, we have had to erect boundaries that serve as parameters that define and shape our culture, because we literally have something to lose. But while the same goes for our dear HBCU traditions, we do have to understand that black things don't only have to take up space within black walls. It's a hobby. Let these 18 to 20-year-old black girls have fun. Now, the real test is gonna come when the Sue Ellens, Sineads, and Claires pull up the tryouts trying to get on the team, or when the drum majors of these predominantly white choral-style marching bands try to come up with some new arrangements for the girls to dance to. Y'all can't be hollering about protecting black traditions and then let any and everybody into the cookout. Keep it.